Howard previously was the local historian for the town of North Hempstead. And he had called me when I was president. Actually was over my term limits. And he came to me and he said, Craig, can we get together for a cup of coffee? So we got together over at the Starbucks over there on Willis Avenue. And he said, you know, Craig, I'm looking for a new project. We're about to embark on this Roslyn gristmill, you know, the William Robeson gristmill. And he said, you know, I'm retired now. Why don't you hand it off to me and let me do it? Because you're so busy anyway with you're still working and everything. So that's what we did. So Howard took it over. And Howard joined the group in 2012, right, Howard? It joined in 2012, became the president in 2018. And Howard has been instrumental in the moving, restoration, and the site planning of this Mackay horse statue. I think you're all aware of that. You know, it's funny, Ian Zwerdling is here. He is really a pistol. One time, years ago, you know, with Roger, he told me that Roger used to like him because Ian had always had one of these big historic station wagons. And Roger would collar him to go start pick up all this stuff that he would buy. But Ian called me one day and he says, Craig, I'm going to come over and pick you up. I got to show you something. He said, I'm sure you've never seen it before. He took me up to East Hills, and this horse statue, many of you probably don't know, was in some guy's backyard. I swear to God, we pulled up to this house, and there it was, popping over the house. Because the thing's enormous. It doesn't look so big down in the village, but up there it was really big. Sorry. Where was I? So, the Mackay horse statue. Howard's also, he's been very forward in this Townsend Cemetery restoration. And now we're involved with the Roslyn Cemetery. They're going to be doing that work there too. And not only that, but the Mackay Estate Gate Lodge. And that project is up by the railroad trestle there, right over by the high school. And that's a great project. I know that not just Howard's involved with it, but John Santos and some others. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. But most importantly, like I said, is the restoration of the William Robeson gristmill in the heart of the village. This has really been our baby. Howard has led walking tours, gives speeches and lectures to various groups. He organizes field trips. You know, we took this trip to the Webb Institute. Thanks. The Webb Institute. This thing is fantastic. I don't know if any of you have ever been there. I don't know if you can get in. You know, that special invitation. And he spent, as you know, the schools are here tonight. He spent a lot of time dealing with the schools and getting them involved. But you know, Howard's accomplishments here, which are many, they're too long and lengthy to list right here and now. But you know, he's raised money from the Gerry Charitable Trust. Believe me, they love him. I mean, and Dr. Bob Mackay, believe me, he's not so crazy about a lot of people. He loves Howard. He's got money out of New York State, Nassau County, and you know how difficult get money out of Nassau County is. Forget it. And he's also engaged this Gardner organization that I never heard of, but it was an organization that gave money primarily to Suffolk County, but then they've probably, due to Howard, they gave us money too. And countless others that are in this room tonight have given money. And not only that, but Howard and his wife, Roz, themselves have given I know how much it is, I'm not saying, but an extraordinary amount of money themselves into the organization. I'll tell you a little story, and I'm almost done. I was at the JCC, my wife Florence and I joined, we're members there. And we bumped into Howard and Roz, and that was the first time I was introduced to her. And I said, you know, Roz, thanks so much for letting Howard come out and play with us. Remember? But listen, it's not just about Howard's accomplishments here, okay? Howard has this energy and focus and dynamism, and I know a lot of you know him here, and you know what I'm saying. And he just has this ability, I want to say motivate others, but I'll say he has the ability to shame you into doing things. Right? And I want to say, Howard, I don't know if I've ever told you myself, you've really made a big impact on me, because you have this ability to make people work harder. And I know that I've done more, and you guys have even got me to get Florence and my wife involved with the organization now, which she loves, by the way. And boy, that gusto of a voice that Howard has, I really wish I had that. Right? But the Roslyn Landmark Society has always been the preeminent historic society in New York State, with this unbelievable inventory of historic structures. Not only historic, but modern. Did Juliana get here tonight? Is she?
No.
She couldn't make it? Where's Robert? Where is he? Did he leave? Okay, maybe he's in the bathroom. But on one of my walking tours, we did we included at the last one, I know Rick was there, his wife, we included the Raleigh Motors Mercedes-Benz dealer. And let me tell you, that was a hoot, So it's not just historic buildings that we're involved with. We're involved with everything here. But in any event, I'll tell you, getting back to what I said before, I wish Roger and Peggy were here to see this right now. Because what Howard has done with this group, and I don't want to embarrass him and tell him he's single-handedly done it, because he's put together this whole group and everyone's done it. So Howard, thank you so very, very much. I don't know what we do without you. So if everyone would join me in a warm welcome of applause to Howard. And Howard, Jamie and the guys put together this little plaque here.
Well, that's quite the introduction, isn't it, Patrick? Good. So for the next 2 hours, we're going to go through some of the events that we did this year and some of the plans for next year. Again, I'm kind of shook up there. That was not in the agenda, people. Really nice. So great to be in my father's sponsor. But Norman's here for the first time. You're gonna buy it. So it's really nice. It's a great venue. And I was here a couple of years ago for the Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. And Eppy, we're gonna see you in a little while. He was so nice, he pounced rather than myself for the evening. When we came, there were no seats, there was no table. And I went that he said, he woke up and says, don't worry. He raised his hand, and out of the blue, the head waiter has a table and 2 chairs and brings it across the room and right over here. It's like, good fellows, it's exactly like that. Roz was talking about that for months. It was so great. And by the way, everything that I do, I can't do it without Roz. So she's very late. But what first thing we want to talk about is membership. This is a summary of our membership. This is the banner that hangs in front of headquarters, and also the Roslyn Bristol. It really pays tribute to our supporters, our benefactors, our sponsors, and people who give money. Last year we had over 230 members, and this year we're going to go 300, 400. Wayne said. So we hope that some people here are listed on our banners, and we hope to have a lot of these on next year's banners as well. We want to talk about staffing. This is the first year we have 2 full-time people on staff, Katie and Jennifer. You guys go on and here's some of the events that are here. A lot of people here have participated. Craig and assisted by Florence, we did the walking tours, which was great. We actually got over the viaduct. I had never walked the viaduct before. It's really cool. We have a whole lecture programs too that we coordinate with not only Bright Library, where Carol and Ariel work there as well. They help coordinate the program. We co-sponsor. We also do a series with the Roslyn and Trinity Episcopal Church. Really good. Oh, we did the cooking. We did that at the libraries, right? That was wonderful. We had the old-time cooking out of utensil. We did the pizza party at my building at Waterfront of Roslyn, and we had a great shirt out for the kids. They got to set the prototype pizza delivery car, so we're going to do that again here as well. Craig mentioned the Web Institute. We had one of our VIP tours at the Web Institute. So they do that in the Batman movie, the home of Bruce Wayne. And if you ever have a chance to go up to Clayco, you can actually walk into the place. It's actually spectacular. We also had a series, Gardner Foundation. We didn't talk about that, but we developed a great relationship with the Gardner Foundation. Robert David Blaine Gardner, he owned Gardner's Island. And his family, dating back to the 1600s, they owned about 1/3, most of South Africa was owned by the Gardner family. And over time, he passed away without an heir, and he left $120 million for historic preservation, mainly for the town of Iceland. But there's not enough historic buildings to spend that much money. So I got to know the executive director of the Gardner Foundation. We expanded our horizons. And now they give grants throughout Long Island, and they've given money for the Roslyn Bristol, they've given money for the Cape Lodge, and they also have a scholars program here as well. So last year we had our first scholars program, and we did a great window art program for the Magnum Estate Cape Lodge. When you pass that, you'll see artwork there. We had 4 windows, and that was the Roslyn High School student Isabel Santos did it. I feel we honest. But they are great. By the way, John Sanders, my co-president here, I do appreciate everything God's done right here. Great. Also, kind of about family, the Roslyn High School worked on this and did a wonderful job, and they received scholarships for this. And we got the 2024 people. We got Isabel Lisa Roslyn High School from the sign-in at Sophia Leonine. And she's been writing, if you look into Roslyn sign, she's writing articles almost 2 times a month for it as well, directly through Roslyn Landmark Society. So talking about our major projects, Roslyn Bristol is our major project. We've been working on this since 2015. And I'm pleased to report that we are keep moving ahead on the project to phase 1. The building was stabilized, got a new foundation, we lowered it to the new foundation. And the building now is resting on its original timber frame. Part of it's been restored, timber frame, but it's right now, before it was held up by steel beams, now it's on its original timber frame itself. And we begin phase 2. And you can see, go back for a second. Is there? No?
Got it.
There you go. You see the second floor there. You see the second floor. We have the first frame of it's going in. We're hoping by spring, the second floor is going to be done with a new roof as well. So on the slide here, you can see here's the work being done. What's interesting about this work, glass widening, is taking so long. There's not a lot of people who have expertise in building a grist mill here on Long Island. So these people mainly come in from Vermont, Massachusetts, and expert in it, and they use the old style techniques. It's all different joints. There's no nails, and this thing, it's all wooden pegs, and it's actually pretty amazing. So work was continuing, and we're planning next month to start working on that second floor and have the second floor roof down. Raising funds. You can't do a project like this without raising funds. And that's probably why, in 1976, Nassau County took over the project and said they were going to restore it. Well, that was 48 years later. They put a lot of plans together, but nothing was getting done. Like that's when a group of us, led by Craig as the president, got together, formed the Roslyn Bristol Committee. John Flynn was active on it, John Santos, myself, and said, we're going to save this building, restore it. But what we had to do was raise money first. And the Gerrys Charitable Trust, dating back to our original founders, really chipped in. They started with $500,000. We went to New York State. Believe it or not, we raised almost $6 million for this project. If you believe it, but you look for money wherever you can get it. And here, as you can see in this slide, $500,000 of it is coming from Save America's Treasures grant, which is National Park Service does that. And it was really initiated by Congressman Tom Slothy, who said his regrets he's going to come here tonight. But he initiated the project. In fact, it was the last thing he did when he served his previous term as Congressman was standing in front of the personnel with a $500,000 check. So, but we celebrated again because we started actually getting reimbursements. So this was just last month with Congressman Slothy in front of the Bristol. And in Nassau County, you can see over here, we've been lobbying for additional funds. Remember, Nassau County owns this thematic restoration. But we've been working with Nassau legislator Billy White and also County Executive Bruce Blakely on additional funds for this. And they allocated funds back in 2009, but it was never reachable, never bonded the money. So I'm really pleased. We've been meeting with the county executive, and just last month, they've included it in their 2025 budget, and they allocated for the first time that they have $2 million set to be bonded. Yeah, so that's really neat. We can finish phase 2, get the phase 3, so we can hopefully open up this Bristol within 2 years. So that's very exciting. The Mackey State Gate Lodge, this is that building. It's right across from the Roslyn High School. For years, it was in the back of it, a tremendous amount of graffiti. You could not even see the boundary walls. So we're working here with the village of East Hills. Mike Coleman, very supportive of it. And Meryl told me the story that she was very important in really preserving this. When it was a pool club, it was open, it was sold to a property owner, and they got covenants on this so that it could not be destroyed. And the village of East Hills really followed through with this. They would not allow any development of the property until they signed an agreement that the gate lot said. So congratulations, everybody with what's that. I mean, the garden and boy, bring people up to the gate lot. I love the artwork on it. It brings a smile to my face every time I pass it. At night, it's lit up. Now, and we're now into phase 1 of it. The next thing that we're doing is we're restoring some of the limestone around the windows and doors. We have historic replica windows and doors. And we're hoping to install that by spring of next year. The next step on that, though, is the roof. So we need to, that's a slate roof up there. It actually looks pretty good from the front, but the back, it's really terrible. And we probably need to put a whole new slate roof up there. And the other thing that we wanted to do was very clock. It was the original clock, the big clock in the front. We plan to do that too. So that's, we're going to need more funds for that. So it's going to go with grants and everything, but everybody here can help. We do the next slide. We have again, a brick campaign and a sponsorship campaign. There we go. And we've already raised almost $35,000 from this. And again, thanks to Nathan Allegra, Rick Schaefer, and myself, challenged everybody by putting $30,000 in there. And I'm confident you're going to raise enough money there. We already have about 20 people at bricks. We're going to have a brick campaign, and on your tables, it's all flying. If you want to put $200, you can use part of this campaign as well. A little selling still here. As Greg says, I never stop selling, I guess, right? And another project that we campaign, No Street Stockings House, that house was the oldest house in Nassau County. We've started repairing it this year. You see here the workers working on that. And we, again, are looking to make this active museum. And so we're going to have school tours. We'll get the Roslyn high school students and part of that, the middle school as well. So that's in our plans. And that's it. Well, that's pretty quick, right? So, good. So with that, it's a pleasure now to introduce our moderator for our keynote speaker here, Rosanna Wolff, over here. And Rosanna is a trustee, but very enthusiastic, very involved with it. And let's hear a big applause.
Just ready for a little rock and roll time. I got I want to get raised hands. Anybody's actually been to the original My Father's Place? Yeah, that's a lot of people. I'd like to hear which concerts did you attend? Howard, what concerts did you attend? Anybody have a memory of an actual concert? Ian? No? Well,
Craig does.
Craig, what's your memory? What concert did you see more? Well, what year?
Neil Young.
Right.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Leah Sargent has one. Go ahead.
The UG, Brian Martin, John Hughes.
Amazing Walkers. What year was that? That's right. 19, probably 74 or 73. All right. Well, here's the thing about My Father's Place. Did anybody know that it was an actual bowling alley?
All there.
Yeah, he's that. So picture this with me. It's April 15th, 1971. The air is thick with anticipation, and the memory of a Roslyn bowling alley begins to fade away, giving way to something electric. A vision that will change the face of music forever. In the heart of Long Island, where the echoes of laughter once filled lanes, a dreamer stands at the helm, ready to transform this unassuming space into a haven for music. My Father's Place is born, a sanctuary where now talent will take the stage, where the unknown will become the unforgettable, Imagine the first notes ringing out. A young Bruce Springsteen, captivating the crowd with his raw energy. His poetic lyrics filling the room with stories of hope and heartache. The audience entranced leans closer, feeling the pulse of music in their veins. This is not just a venue. It's a crucible of creativity, a place where legends are forged. So tonight, as we celebrate the legacy of my father's place and Howard with a This Is Your Life, My Father's Place edition. Now, let's bring out the man behind the magic, the visionary himself, Eppy Epstein.
What?
$9.99, Eppy, $9.99. $9.99. Nope. Yeah, I think. Well, where's John?
What? Why are we swiping? Well, they said, I tell you.
Hi, everyone.
Let's.
Before, I just want to tell you,
Oh, nice. Okay.
we'll stand for a few minutes,
Oh, you
and
got
then I'll sit with you in your shoes. I want to tell everyone here a little history about me. 1969, took over a little house on Main Street, first of the Jolly Fisherman. Just get out of college.
And I opened up an alternative cultural shopping mall with a leather crafter, a silver crafter, the Roslyn Coffee, Tea, and Spice Shop, which had Jarlsberg cheese. Everyone thought Jarlsberg was Danish Swiss. In any case, it was at number 4 Main Street. And first thing we did, being too crazy, my cousin Richie and I from the South Shore, we painted the building purple and yellow.
Richie Havens.
And then we met Roger Garrett and Peggy, and Roger wasn't happy about it. I didn't know there was a Landmark Society. I didn't know there were zoning laws. We just wanted to build a cool store. Hippies to come and spend money. So that became the beginning for me with learning about Roslyn, and I went on many digs with Peggy and the Van Nostrand house when it got moved. We went there, we were sifting through the dirt, finding little pieces of metal and pottery. And growing up a rich kid, my parents belonged to Westbury Golf Country Club. They took one of the houses off of the Whitney estate and moved it to Roslyn. That was like one of the first ones. And I guess that's a cool thing that they took, that the village, or the Landmark Society, Preservation Society, took all these old buildings from all these estates and moved them here rather than them get ripped down. So that was nice. But my whole thing was, at 18 years old, was to build a cultural milieu in the upper class Nouveau Riche ghetto. That was going to be Roslyn. I wanted to make it like Harvard Square in Boston. Was I nuts? We were nuts. And the only head shop, the only little alternative store in Roslyn was the Handcrafted Gallery. Probably none of you know it. There was a woman named Naomi Kahn, who, this is 69, 70, she used to go to jail every Sunday because there were blue laws and you couldn't operate a retail establishment in Nassau County. So every Sunday the police would come and arrest her. You know, it had to start somewhere, like the time has changed. But I invited other people to come in, Stone Cellar, George Lucas, downstairs, upstairs, a place called A Different Drummer, which was on St. Paul Street in the city. I think it was St. Mark's Street, a place in the city. That was, and slowly but surely, there were more and more stores there, and then I guess the village thought that it was too much craziness. In any case, I wanted to build a coffee house up there on that building. It was called Neverwin, which is an Edgar Rice Burroughs book. That's what we named it. And of course, Rudy Bernardo, who owned the ice cream. Do you remember any little kids remember? In Roslyn, they had an ice cream place right in the middle of town. And it was called the Roslyn. Anyway, he also made ice cream in the back. Rudy said, you can't do any of that. So that's it. So that's basically what happened. And then there was a bowling alley. And now the bowling alley was at 19 Bryant Avenue. And 19 Bryant Avenue was not only a bowling alley, it was built as a Ford dealership in the 20s, and then it became a defense plant in the 40s. But in between that, it was a florist. It was a place where they met, where the village of Roslyn used it when their municipality offices burned down. So it was a lot of stuff other than being a bowling alley. But when it was
Funeral
a bowling
home,
What?
funeral home too.
Yeah, it was a funeral home also. So the thing is that when I walked in there in 69, 70, there were country western pictures all over the walls. All these people of twang were playing there in the 50s. Tommy Cash, Johnny's brother, Loretta Lynn, what was her name? Lynn? And it had Waylon Jennings, and I can't remember, I'm too old to remember this stuff. But they were all up on the wall, the bar of the bowling alley. First show was not what you said, it was on Memorial Day, 1971.
What was that?
That was Richie Havens.
That was Richie Havens.
Yeah. And Richie was like my rabbi, and he came in and played for nothing a year after Woodstock. And
We're gonna have to update your Wikipedia.
it's not my Wikipedia. I've never even looked at it in my life. So
Well, thank you.
now you can ask questions, and you can ask me questions because I didn't finish what I wanted to do anyway.
Oh, that's okay.
But it's okay. I'll do it another time.
Well, we're so happy to have you
I
here.
want to just give you one story. I'll just jump ahead. That you should all know. Oh, does any people know who Roy Mosier is? Is he a name?
Yeah.
No, you know everyone. That's unfair. Anyway, just checking.
Okay, well, we're so happy to have you here tonight. Before we dive into all the stories and have you share about some things, we want to get to something that'll be fun tonight. Let's play a little game. And here's how it works. You have 3.5 minutes for each artist I mention. When I say the name, the countdown will begin, and you'll have to share your wildest story before the time runs out. If you go over time, we got Jason here to wrap up things a little bit.
I try, but sometimes the wild stories are not been sought.
Well, we're all adults here. That's okay.
Are we? It's so.
First up, we have Bruce Springsteen.
Well, that's an easy one. Bruce came in. He just came from Asbury Park. Mike Appel, who was his manager, asked me to play him as a folk singer. I brought him in to open up for an act that was a jazz act. It was a Paul Winter consort.
Oh my gosh, I love Paul Winter.
All right, anyway, that's good. One person knows Paul Winter. And Bruce pulled up in a bus with 90 people, all drunk, and his band. And Paul said to me, Eppy, we're going to open for them. You'll pay us for one show instead of the two. And we're leaving. He was so upset when he saw all their equipment. Bruce was so nervous, because we were doing a live radio broadcast for WLIR, said I had to push him on stage after smoking a joint. And he says, if you listen to the radio broadcast, which you can find on the internet, radio's a nervous business. And then
Radio's a nervous business?
Radio's a nervous business. And then he says, somebody asked me what Asbury Park's really like. And one guy claps. He goes, crowd's ready, crowd's ready. Anyway, that's my Bruce Springsteen.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay. Next up, is it true that Madonna frequented the venue looking for inspiration?
No.
What was the story about Madonna and your
Madonna
venue?
played as a trap act at another place called U.S. Blues.
Right, sure.
And she finally did get a record deal. And so Madonna came, and she was dressed up in a Catholic girl
Sure.
uniform, and her band was there. But
She was wearing a Catholic uniform, like from a Catholic school?
Yeah.
Okay. Linda Ronstadt. Wait, I know a story about this.
Let's hear it. You got 3 minutes.
I want you, correct me if I am wrong, but are you the reason why a song that she covered just went bazooka crazy in the charts?
Yeah, but that's not where the show starts. It starts right here.
What song is it?
What? Heatwave by Martha and the Vandellas.
Who knows Heatwave? Linda
Doesn't know
Ronstadt?
Martha and the Vandellas.
Tell us how you were instrumental in
All right,
making that a
it's
hit.
really not
And
much
making,
more
Eppy making that a
It's
hit.
not really that complicated, but Linda came in with a couple of guys from the record company in a limo, in a blizzard. It was one of the worst ice storms the village of Roslyn's ever had. And the ice was so heavy it would break the power lines. So there was no power in the village. For some reason, up where I live by St. Mary's, up the block, we had electricity in Roslyn Harbor. I don't know, it's only a block away, but everything was off in the village. So, but Linda's bus had also broken on the 95 because it was so cold that the axle broke. So the band couldn't get there. We're sold out for the night. So she comes to my house and says, "What do you got?" I said, "What do you want?" "I got it." We hung out in the hot tub. The next day she went out jogging in the freezing.
When did you tell her to sing a Heatwave?
I'm telling you that right now. But we
In
were
the hot
sold
tub.
out, and the show had already passed because we didn't have electricity. So what happened was, we went advertised in LAR, we're doing another show. So we did an early show, and then we sold tickets for the late show the next night. And everyone in the audience for the first show was going, Linda, 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 Linda.
What year is this again?
What?
What year is this again?
I'll have to look it up on your internet.
On my internet. No, not his.
I go downstairs, I say, "I got 100 people waiting to get inside. It's freezing out for the late show." She says, "These guys don't know any of the songs." They were a pickup band. People like Waddy Wattel, because who recorded the record, they would be on stage with her. So I said to Waddy Wattel, "Do you know Heatwave by Martha and the Vandellas?" Every kid played it in the band in the 60s. I said, I don't know the song. And so I grabbed his guitar, I started playing it. I would say, "Linda, you know the words?" She says, "I know some of them." So bottom line was, he knows the progression, a regular R&B progression. Linda, I'm writing the words out. Whenever he calls my name, something inside is burning. Anyway, and then somehow out of my Abla Mandula, I remember the second verse. They go on stage. I'm backstage writing the words to the second verse. Linda saying, "Look, you guys have to leave after the song. This band doesn't know any of the songs. There's 100 people freezing to get in." And so they do the song. It's great. She loved it. She said, "I want to record the song." End of story.
Back with that little story, her record producer was also very famous. Said, "I need your address. I want
I want to send you a what?
gold singer. Well, gold $40.
Is it called?
That was key to that passion. But it was like that. Who's going to be playing it soon? I didn't have any, but every time I need to play song, I said, "Did you bring my gold single?" It says, "And
We have that to be Epstein to thank for a Heatwave.
I'm that much of that."
All right, well, Billy Joel, can we talk about Billy Joel?
There's nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about. We can talk
In the club, but at
Chocolate.
Recorded Studios, 1972.
The story is that we were doing broadcasts every week on LAR 92.7 at a studio across where the calendar was, Ultrasonic Studios. And anyone that did broadcast on Tuesday night would play the club on the weekend. So I had both Charlie Daniels and Jerry Corbett, at the time, two Muscle Shoals session musicians who just put out a record. And they were supposed to play. Billy's in Studio B recording Greetings from Cold Spring Harbor. And the thing is that Charlie Van Ness said, Brother Henry, if y'all want me to play y'all club this weekend, I got my laryngitis. I can't do this show tonight. Tonight, it's a broadcast. So walk into the studio, Studio B, and I say to Billy, do me a favor, can you be the piano man tonight? Now, no one used that expression yet, because that was an expression that grew on him when he went to California.
Does he like that expression? I hear
No,
he actually hates
he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And so he said, no, I don't want to do that. No, I said, just do your Gabby Hayes, John Wayne impressions, your Beatles songs for like 45 minutes live on the radio. And when this record comes out, we'll play the shit out of it. So that's basically what happened. We played it, BAB played it, and then everyone started playing it, even though it was recorded so badly.
Nice.
So that's my Billy Joel story.
One of my favorite bands. Yeah, I hope you don't have a story about this, that's fine.
I'll make one up.
It's my favorite. The Talking Heads. Who loves the Talking Heads?
Yeah, I wish I had a story for them because they're so quiet. I actually have pictures that one of the photographers took the first or second time they played in the late 70s. And it's Chris Stein over, Chris France over there, Tina Weymouth over there, and David over there. And they're all reading a book. And the thing that confused me was Tina's reading in Japanese, and David's reading in French. And I don't know, I'm not David, I mean Tina, and then Chris is reading in French. And David Burns, I don't know what he was reading, so I couldn't even figure it out. And they really didn't want to be bothered. They were so anti-disestablishment. It's time for them to get on stage, they got on. Those were the days when Silly Crystal from CBGB's came out. He'd been open for just a couple of years. And so I said, Hilly, why don't you come out with some of your bands and we'll do CBGB's at my father's place.
That's right.
So he went for it, and he'd get on stage and go, hi, I'm Billy Crystal, and this is not CBGB's. We're at my father's place. And I bought 3 great bands out, the Dead Boys, the Talking Heads, and one other act. I don't remember what it was in those days, but there was so many acts. And that's the end of that story.
All right, well, what about the police?
There's no.
Sting. Come on, there's got to be some Sting.
There's a Sting story.
Yes, I do. There's a Sting story.
All right, it's a Sting story. At LAR, I was doing a live radio broadcast. I was doing a live reggae show Sunday nights from 10 to 12 called Punky Reggae Party. I wish someone would get me a copy of it. I don't even have a copy.
Punk?
What?
Punk
Punky
reggae?
Reggae Party was called, which is a song by Bob Marley, and Rita Marley let me call it that.
Oh,
And it
cool.
was, Punky Reggae Party.
That's amazing.
And it's tonight.
Bob Marley's wife, just let him go on that. Okay.
So the thing is, I'm asking everyone that I know, if you hear of any white artists that speak in English, not patois, that we can understand the music, I want to play that on the radio. I know it sounds very bigoted, but the thing was, I could not understand patois. So when these guys were singing, it's like, eventually I learned to speak patois and understand it, but I mean, it's so bigoted of it. So David
Little
Barron,
gems that just go over my head. He learned how to speak.
yeah, so you learned it by saying, "Iya not too bad, iya not too bad, you are not too bad, iya not too bad." Keep saying it over and over.
Thank you.
Iya not too bad. Everyone practice. So
Sting.
David Barron is in bed with Miss Cicero, who was the music director for Dennis Factor at LA.
They were testing out mattresses at Sleepy's.
No, I don't know if they were doing that. But they were listening to, every week we would get a stack of LPs like that, which is about 30 records. And there's songs on every record. One record that came in for them was a record called No Wave. No Wave was all these punk rock bands that were on a collection of that couldn't get a record deal. And one of the songs on there was Rock Sand.
No.
So David calls me up 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. He says, Eppy, listen to this. Puts the phone on.
Roxanne.
Right. He said, here's what you're looking for. I said, great. Go over to the station. They were living a mile from the station. I was in Roslyn. I said, I'll meet you at the station. We're going to put it right on the radio at 5 o'clock in the morning. Put it on 5 times. And then Dennis McNamara did not talk to me for a month.
The
So
amazing
what
Dennis
are you doing to my
McNamara.
radio station? Of course, we continued playing it, and they had to put a record out. So they put a record LP out, because we didn't have 45s in the 80s, we only had LPs.
LPs.
In England, they still had 45s. So the thing is that the record's out, the band needs to tour, and we did a little tour for them in a station wagon. And Sting said to me when he came in, can you carry my amplifier in, please?
Sting asked
Which
you
I
to
did.
carry his
Which I
amplifier.
did. And he talks about it in his books.
I love that.
So I'm sorry it's not a great story.
And he sang
But these are all
Roxanne
true.
that night?
Yeah, of course.
I love that.
Yeah, and everything else that was on the album.
That's amazing. Can you just imagine, can you picture Sting in Roslyn at my father's place singing Roxanne? It's just,
Well,
it's amazing.
that wasn't even the B-side. The record company said the other side of the record was the hit. All I Want Is to Be Next to You. All I Want Is to Be Next to You. That was the hit. But we didn't play it. We played Roxanne.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have one story, and I only need 2 minutes to tell you.
Okay, because I'm done asking
All
questions.
right. One night in the 70s, early 70s, 74 maybe, it was 74, 73. I get a call from George Lucas, who owned U.S. Blues. He also had Stone Soul, we talked about it. He was a character. And he said, I know you have James Cotton playing tonight. Don't be mad, but I invited Matt Guitar Murphy to come over to the club at like 3 in the morning after Saturday Night Live goes off the air and teach all those guys from Saturday Night Live how to sing the blues. I said, I don't care because my show's over at 12 o'clock. He says, come over with some of your big bets, bring a viol with you. So I did. We walk in. It's everyone from Saturday Night Live. The entire staff, production team, everyone was there. And they're all playing instruments and at U.S. Blues, so.
Amazing.
George introduced me to this guy who was playing drums. I knew who it was. It's John Belushi. And John comes in, and George says, this is Eppy. He's the guy who owns the club where James Cotton is playing tonight. So he shakes my hand, and it's so clammy. Hey, man. This is the story. Hey, man, you turned me on to my favorite, and I pull my hand away, my favorite Chinese restaurant when I moved here from Chicago. I go, Mr. Belushi, I have never met you, let alone have dinner with you. No, man, I gigged your club. And I remember in 72, we did a production company of the National Lampoon. And because I was from the South Shore, I didn't know how the rail worked. So Sunday night in those days, the diesel stopped at 11:30, 12 o'clock. So how are these guys going to get home? Is a blizzard out, and they don't have rides home, 3 people. Everyone had a ride home except for these 3 people. So I said, come on, we'll go to Wohops. So got in the car, went to 17 Mott Street, had a blast, sliding around. So I said to John, who were the other 2 people in my car? Ratner and Murray. End the story. That's why you never know who you're going to meet on the way up.
Eppy, thank you so much for coming and sharing your stories with me tonight and everybody here at the Roslyn Landmark Society and all of our guests. You are an amazing storyteller and you live a life we can only ever
I have a lot more next time. It costs money.
Everybody, come see all the different things that Father's Places. We put out a little dinner. Everybody can take one home with us. There's a schedule coming up this year.
I don't know if they ever run it out.
Yeah. It's a cool. I tell you what, it's fair. It's my only thank you.
Right. See. I'm going to oh, we like the base.
Once again, I just want to thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for being tonight. I hope you had a great time, and we hope to see you again next year. Have a good night.
Don't do that.